Alright, so it's been about a week since I've done any kind of design work for this project. And in that time, I got some opinions of some people that I trust, some people that I think are great designers and have a good eye, and something that they recommended, which I was also thinking about doing, which is to just do this all analog. So instead of trying to do everything digitally, I'm now going to switch over to try to do everything more analog. I'm thinking that'll help me come up with something a little bit different, so that way I'm not using the same tools that I'm used to and just coming up with the same results that I normally would. But I'm also hoping, since we're doing it more analog and I'll have to scan it in, it'll feel a little bit more authentic. So really my ideal goal is just to make a base that I can then replicate everything and take each one of the other shoes that I have and then just put it on top. But I guess that'll really just depend on how the design comes out, because maybe I want to layer things some more, and that might make things a little bit more tricky than if it's just, the background and then the shoe. And if I'm being really transparent, I'm a little scared about this entire process. I've never done anything at this capacity in analog, so it kind of feels a little bit daunting to have all of this stuff, and it's just, you just got to make do with what you have. There's no, redos. If you make a cut and you don't like it, if you glue something down and you don't like it, you're just kind of stuck with it. But I know I'll never figure it out unless I try it, so we're just gonna have to try, see what happens, and then reevaluate after that. So let's get to it. Alrighty, so I'm pretty much ready. I cut the shoe out so I can position it however I want. Got a blank sheet of paper. Got a bunch of tools. I've got some tape, glue, scissors, X-Acto. We're just gonna throw it all together and see what happens. So I think the first thing that I want to play with, one of these patterns, that's kind of what I'm thinking of using as a base. Because what I am thinking what might be kind of cool is if I cut these into like kind of long rectangles that don't quite go maybe like from here to here. Then you have this like this, so you have this kind of upward motion maybe. Let's see if I can get that centered a little bit more. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking so far. But I just had a cool thought, which is, what if I leave this kind of harsh edge, push everything over, and then I have this space free to add something else in post. So like this could be like a big photograph or something. I like that idea. I'm not super sold on this idea, but that could also be, so we took that out, that could also be where we put this. Kind of like that. This is such a mess. It's kind of fun though. And if we layer these on top of each other, it'll kind of hide the seam a little bit. Like I said, that would still leave this side of the paper to do whatever we want. Which I don't think I mentioned that yet, but I came up with a tagline. So the entire project is gonna be under the tagline of Better with Wear. So that, that could be what goes right here. Something like that. And then maybe a picture here. Like that's already pretty cool. Kind of want to put something here. But what? Or maybe what we do, we can put Vans here and then put the tagline up here. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. I feel like I'm a kid again doing arts and crafts, which is kind of weird, but fun. Now what if, I wonder if maybe this is that's what we do, and then we leave this area free for a photo. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Maybe we go with it, maybe we don't. So what I might do is make a kind of a collage using these boxes. Maybe, so I kind of like this layout generally. It's okay, at least so far. What I'm thinking is if I glue down just part of this square, I can still kind of move a different cutout of the shoe in. So that way I can still do whatever I want to do. It shouldn't cause too many issues. And since they're gray and nothing else is gray, I can go into Photoshop and add in pictures, and I don't have to worry about trying to get everything to match. It'll be like a good selection, if that makes sense. Maybe add like a little something here using this. All right, I think maybe I want to get something really thin. I'm thinking this. I know something could definitely go here, and that could definitely be one of the Vans logos. Like, this is all right so far. I like it. Don't know if I love it though. Like that. Yeah, something like that. And that could either, so we could either put this or that, like right here could be a good spot for it, or down here. I think this actually might be better, so it's more diagonal. Instead of, that's not, I don't like that angle as much. Why does this look cool kind of by itself? Like, even without, maybe I'm overthinking it, because like this by itself is already kind of cool. Maybe it's not like the best thing, but yeah, and then just add the shoe in and bada bing, bada boom. I want to try to come up with one more design. So what I'm gonna do is I'll scan this in. I might put it up on the screen or whatever, but I'll scan this in, and then I'll try to come up with the third design. I'll film that, and then we'll be done. Okay, so for the last one, I want to do something a little bit different than we've done for the last two. So I just printed out this rectangular shape that I'll use as a placeholder for a photo. So I'm pretty much trying to do something closer to what we already saw in the inspirations that I showed you guys. So I guess something a little bit more kind of what you would expect, but I do still want to try to put my own spin on it. But I thought we already did two with, like, you know, the shape of the shoe actually cut out. So I figured this might be a good option, or just like, oh yeah, drop the photo of the shoe in, done, or drop the photo of whatever in, and then we're done. We don't have to do any more work other than that. So let's try that. So where do we start? I kind of like that it's like kind of mostly hidden. Just get a little bit of the red, but I don't know. Now where to go from here? Because I could also just use this as a general design concept and then design like 3 more of them. So each one, each shoe has its own kind of collage, but use very similar shapes and maybe kind of some similar compositions, just slightly different. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna leave this here as is. I mean, I'll glue everything down, but I think this pretty much does it. So let's go ahead and scan this in. I'll probably make a quick couple edits, and I'll probably sit on these for a couple days because I do want to see how I feel about them. If I do feel good about them, I think I'll show you some of the stuff that I'm working on. Like if I switch the photo out with the multiple ones of the shoes, or I switch the different shoes out like this and the different layouts. We'll see. I'm still kind of planning this out. I kind of just going by the seat of my pants. I really don't have a good plan. That being said, I have something down. I like where it's going. But once I get a kind of visual direction that I like, that I'm okay with, it's really just going to be a lot of come up with different variations for the different places that I want to put these, you know, designs in, whether it's, you know, a billboard or a magazine or whatever it is. So once I have all that figured out, or at least have a better idea, you'll hear from me. So I'll see you then. All right, so it's been about a week or two, and I've been doing some work off camera. So I thought now would be a good time to give you guys an update, so that way you know what's going on moving forward. So after scanning in the designs and then doing some work in Photoshop, here's where we left off. So the first design that I came up with came out pretty good. I really like it. I think the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is that there's not a lot of color in the collage. The only color in the image is in the photograph, which isn't a huge deal. It's just not my favorite thing about it. But I did end up going with the other two design concepts as a better direction compared to this. So after working on the second design concept that I came up with, we ended up here. Now originally I was planning this just to be the poster design concept that I was working on, but since it's not very tall, it actually works really well in a square format as a social media posts and advertisements that I'll be creating. Now the last one that I was working on is the final concept for the poster designs that I'm doing. I just thought it was really simple, effective, looked good, and fit well with the second concept that we had, so they kind of go really well together. So it's kind of already like I made them with the same thought in mind, rather than the first one, which kind of feels out of place with the other two. But once I had some time just to kind of evaluate the different designs and how I wanted to use them, I was able to come up with the different variations for each kind of design that I was making. So I pulled back out all the resources that I had printed out so I could make 3 different variations on the 2 different designs that I had, so that way I could make a design for each shoe. So here's what the social media posts look like. And then here's what the poster designs look like. I wanted to make sure they all felt similar, but I wanted to make sure that they were unique, so that way it wasn't like I was just copying and pasting everything. So that way every design feels unique and not just copy and pasted over forever and ever for everything that I'm doing for this project. Now I may or may not come back and kind of edit these designs a little bit, but I think as of right now, they're pretty close to being finished. We're talking 75 to 90% finished. So if I do come back to them, it's not going to be huge changes, just small things. And if I do change them, I'll show them at the end of the project so that way you can see how they changed. So now that I have these 2 parts of the project done, I can move on to some of the other parts. So I already have some ideas of what I want to make next, and some of those things include magazine ads, billboards, a shirt design, and a new shoebox design. I might end up adding more to that later, but as of right now, I think that kind of covers the majority of the things that I wanted to include in this ad campaign. So with this last part of the project, I'm gonna have to get those resources back out, cut up some stuff, and create up some new layouts that will work for each of the new formats that I'll be working with. I'm gonna do my best to video as much of that process as I possibly can, but I also don't want to make this video too long and boring and repetitive. So I don't know what that looks like moving forward, but you'll figure that out whenever you finish the series. So now it's just time to get back to designing and hopefully finish this project, because that means I have to do more math, and I don't want to do that because that's dumb. This is starting to feel all right. I like this. I like where it's going. That could be cool. Also complicated.